Hey y'all, happy Friday. It is Jasmine Elizabeth, and you are tuned into the R Network, where we are not just for the people, we are the people. It is Friday, it's about 5 p.m., 5:10 on this cold winter afternoon in Denver, Colorado. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in so far. If you're with me, just say what's up in the chat so I know you're here. Even if you're only hopping on for a little bit of time, I'm just super happy that you're here. We got some cool conversations we're gonna have today. We got another one from a guy, and I think that's dope that we have men who actually chime in. And shout out to my people on YouTube. I don't know if last week might have thrown you guys off because we weren't here, but we took a little break, a little hibernation, and it felt really good actually to just breathe, to just really just not do too much, not to force anything, to take space. And that's what I'm learning, like to really honor your body, honor the season that you're in, honor what you feel, and even if it's against the norm, just really stepping into what works for you. So I think that's important that you do that in this season every day, that you take time to really just acknowledge your body, your mental, your emotions, because a lot of times we're on autopilot and we just go through shit, and then next thing you know, we're sick or we're depressed or we're feeling all types of things. But if we just slow down for a little bit, we're able to just kind of tune in and tap in and see what we really us last week and continuing to hop back on. As you know, we are on Facebook, we're on Amazon, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on all your streaming platforms. And so if you're watching, share it on your page, because we know the more people that chime in on these conversations, the more dynamic and intriguing and interesting they are, because our point of views are so different, but they're so connected. And I think that conversation is important, like being able to have conversation with different people, different backgrounds, different sexes. That connection is extremely important. And so that's what we do here at Dear Jassy. You send in letters with different scenarios, different situations, different questions, and you email them to me at dearjassy at gmail.com. And then on Fridays, we sit and we chop them up about what you guys send in. So you send in scenarios, and it's so cool because a lot of them end up being about relationships, or am I playing myself, or am I leading them on, or just really different things where we actually get a lot of insightful information about the opposite sex and different health situations. Excuse me. Things that you want to consider when you're dating, questions that you want to ask when you're dating, questions you want to ask yourself. Oh, we've even talked about sibling scenarios where different siblings have different expectations. So it's really cool, the scenario. So I appreciate everyone who's tuned in, who's emailed, who's chimed in, who's been a part of the crew. I'm extremely grateful for you. So remember, you send in your scenarios, you send in your questions, your comments, and you can even jump off of like something that we've already talked about. And you email it to dearjassy at gmail.com. Like I said, that's dearjassy at gmail.com. And we will chop it up. We chop it up. And so that's where we are. So as we continue to build up, I'm not going to go into the first scenario yet. I'm going to continue to allow people to hop on. And so as the audience builds up, I want to remind you that you can find me every Sunday at Tetra at Breathe. And let me tell you, the vibe is actually building up, and it's actually really becoming a dope space. And when I say that, it's because like we're figuring out what works and what connects people. And so we've implemented different games. Spades is always a go-to, dominoes. But Taboo has been like a go-to. Like people have really been enjoying Taboo and interacting with different people. Last week we had a whole tattoo studio come in and kick it with us. We had the hibachi food truck. They were really good. And so we're really building it up. And it's really a vibe that you want to be a part of. So on Sundays, you want to come out to Tetra from 2 to 7. And that's on the east side, 3039 Walnut. And come breathe with us. Come play spades, dominoes, taboo. Oh, we always have a massage therapist. Vic is hands on, spot on. We either have Vic or we have Jahala, and both of them are magic with their hands. They offer $1 a minute massages. And then we're now introducing, well, we'll have mocktails and we'll still have tea pouring. So you'll be able to get a complimentary mocktail, get some tea, you can get a massage, you can visit the food truck, and we have all the games on. And so we know the Broncos are doing what they do, but the Broncos play tomorrow, so we won't be able to watch them on Sunday. But make sure you check them out tomorrow because we're going to smash the Bills. We really, really, really need that win. Anyway, so we watch all the games, NFL ticket, NBA ticket. If you indulge, if you are a 420 participant, it's a really nice space for that. They have different vendors, different sponsors, and different things that you can partake in. So make sure if you're in Denver that you come breathe with us on Sunday at Tetra from 2 to 7, and you can hang out with us there. Hey, Shanae. Hey, Shanae. Hey, Shanae. I see you in the comments. Thank you for tagging your people and have them join the conversation. And I would love for your sister to come. I remember your sister. I remember your sister. I remember Tyra. I remember your whole crew. So I'm super grateful for that, for your participation and for you tagging people on. So we talked about breathe. We talked about all the things that we've chatted about up until this point. We have the announcement. Oh, I think I had announced that maybe a week ago. I had said that I rescheduled the Now I Know dinner experience, because I didn't want to do it on my birthday. So that was rescheduled to February 7th. So if you had tickets, please check your email, because the email was sent with the new date. It'll still be at the same venue and all of that jazz, but it will take place on February 7th. So I look forward to that. So I think that's all my announcements. So we can definitely get into it. Yeah, so let's hop into the first one. So let's see what our first scenario of the day is. And then as people join in, we'll do like we always do. So this one, the person is a dude, but I don't have their name, which is cool, whatever, it doesn't really matter. So the first one says, Dear Jassy, I'm engaged to a woman who keeps asking me to co-sign for things. A car, a credit card, even a business loan for a company she hasn't started. My credit is good and hers is, let's say, aspiring. Is this a partnership or am I about to become her personal bank? Okay, so it says, I'm engaged to a woman who keeps asking me to co-sign for things, a credit card, a car, even a business loan for a company she hasn't started, and it's been 7 years. That's a long time. My credit is good, and hers is, let's say, aspiring. Is this partnership, or am I about to become her personal bank? Okay, right, girl. Shanae said, oh my head, yeah. So I'm going to let y'all comment. See if you guys have some comments for the people who are on and what's your thoughts. So he says he's been with her for 7 years. They're engaged and he's signed for her car for her, a credit card, and a business loan, and a company that hasn't been started yet. So 7 years is a long time, right? But 7 years, I feel like somebody's behavior after 7 years. So I don't think her credit just became aspiring. I don't think there's so many different dynamics to this, right? Because like when you're engaged, that means that you're about to make someone your wife. And when you're a wife, when you're a husband, is your role to be a provider or a supporter, or does she work, or like what are the dynamics of that? Because again, let me just preface this to say that I'm single. I've never been married, so I don't necessarily know like how I feel like partnerships are, yeah. So I agree, Shanae. Like Shanae says, you provide, right? So that's what I'm saying too. So like if if so in so Shanae says as the husband that he provides, and I agree with that. But and two, like I don't we're gonna have that part and consider something else too. Because Tilly says with her asking for all that and they ain't married yet, she's definitely gonna be a problem. So that's my other part too, because like my thing is like you've been with her for 7 years. So like this isn't somebody you just met last year. So her behaviors or her traits, they had to have been like red flags up until this point, right? But at the same time, you've given it to her, like you've done it. You've signed for the car, you've given her credit cards, and you've done the business loan thing. So you've done the things, like you've played the role of a husband or a provider before actually being a husband. You get what I mean? So like now to say, should I marry her is kind of like asshole backwards to me. Am I wrong, guys? Like, am I wrong? Because I feel like you've already done it. Like you've already made these commitments, because even if she's not your wife, she has a car in your name or that you provided for her, a credit card and a business loan. Um, and that's what I'm saying too, Shanae, because Shanae says it's been 7 years. So what's giving the pause now? Like, what is the reservation now? But Tilly says it doesn't matter how long they've been dating. She's a liability. And I agree 100%. Like, I'm not going to disagree at all. Like, that's definitely a problem, especially if there's no return on your investment. Like, is she driving the car to work? Like, does she need a car to get to work, to get to plan, or is she just kicking it? Why couldn't she get a credit card? And for me, like, I feel like as a partner too, um, we have spaces where like we can help or like kind of enable. So like maybe instead of signing for the car for her and the credit card and the business loan, like you could help her get her shit together so she could do it herself. Like maybe help her with resources or tools or like best practices that you use. Because if your shit's good, then that means you know how to manage your money and your bills and your responsibilities. So maybe you could put her in game to where she can do the same thing. But definitely a liability. I agree with that, Tilly. And then on the flip side, I do believe that as a husband, when you are, if that's the decision that you guys decide to make, like as a husband, your role is to provide in regards to whatever you agree on. But in the same token, um, yeah, there has to be some communication. And I feel like we always come back to that. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what kind of conversations are you having with her when you are agreeing to co-sign for these things? Like, is it with condition? Does she have to pay you back? Or is it just like, yeah, baby, I got you? Because if it's just, yeah, baby, I got you, then you got her and she got you. And I don't really know what else to say. Because Shanae said it's a huge red flag, especially if her credit is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're helping, like, if you're getting the car and the credit card and the business loan for her, then she should be working on getting her shit together while you're helping her. It shouldn't be like, you know? So, but I feel like you already are her personal bank. It says, is this partnership or am I about to become her personal bank? Like you already are her personal bank. And so you have to decide if you're okay with that, if that's the role that you want to play. But that doesn't mean that it can't change. Like you can really put your girl on game and you could really equip her to not be a liability. Like if you want to wife her, if you have a desire to make her your wife, then there's some particular reason. And I feel like you are capable of helping her to do things differently or to actually put her in position. So what do y'all think about that? Do you think that his role is that his role? Like is that his role as a husband or potential husband, fiance, to say like, no, babe, I'm not necessarily gonna keep financing you, but I will help you get your credit together? Or is it like, nah, I got my credit together, so you need to figure it out? And then I also think that's important, like having those hard conversations about your finances, because some people don't have financial literacy. They're not very well in tune with their finances, and some is intentionally ignorant, and some people genuinely just don't know. They just genuinely don't know. And I'm not saying that ignorance is an excuse, but if you can teach somebody and put them on game, I also think that that's important. Um, I agree. I agree. Shanae says that after 7 years, it's too late. Her expectations for him. I agree. Mm, but I think maybe the structure. I think it may be some hard unlearning. But I would feel like if they're committed to each other, and it's like, all right, babe, we're about to take this to another level, where we're no longer to get like we're about to take it from boyfriend and girlfriend to like wife type situation. And in this space, like our expectations are different. And again, like I agree with you too, because I'm like, that's a hard standard to go back to, um, especially since you've already been doing it. But Tilly says it's not his job. She either comes out with the tools or she don't. Like why she ain't got the business going. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. Like I don't think it's not his job. No, not at all. Um, but do you just give up on her? So then what do you think he should do? Should he just walk away like, all right, you don't got your monies together, you don't got your shit together. I've already given you a car or credit card, and I've tried to help you with the business, and so now it's time for you to go. Like I can't do this. Would you walk away in that regards? Would you marry her? What would you do? Because I feel like I would probably step back and no, I don't think I would go forward in the marriage. I would definitely try to put her on game, give her a little bit of time and see how she flips what I gave her. And then after that period of time, if nothing progresses, I would definitely probably part ways or something. I don't know. What y'all think? Would you marry her? And that's a good question. Like, why hasn't the business got started? And like, are you asking for, are these like gifts? Are you gifting her these things? Because you can gift some. I've been gifted a car before in college. That was a very interesting experience. But yeah, you can be gifted. Like, did you give her a car as a gift? Two cars actually. But did you give her a car as a gift? Did you give her a car? Like, what are the dynamics with that? So Tilly, do you think if your husband, is it your husband's job to put you on game? Like I understand maybe not in a dating thing, but with them they've been together for 7 years. So if it's, do you think he has like some level of responsibility, or um I don't want to say responsibility, but like some level what's the word I'm looking for? Not expectation, but like that's your boo. Like you want to pour into them. You want to make them feel um I don't know. So what do you think? Winston at YouTube says it sounds like he's a convenience. I don't know. 7 years is a long time. I don't know if convenience is the right word. Would you say that? Because it has to be something if he wants to marry her, even though they've been engaged. I don't know how long they've been engaged for, but it has to be something if he wants to marry her. So maybe not a convenience per se. Your husband, that is true. He's not her husband. So that's what I was saying too. It's like, it's kind of hard to ask these questions because you were already playing the role before you were actually in the role. And I think that that's what's so important about like dating and clear expectations and knowing your position, because you were doing husband shit before you were her husband. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you can't stop being her personal bank because of the stuff that she has in your name. Like, she has a car, a credit card, and a business loan in your name. So there's always going to be some level of connection there. Like, always, always, always. But do you have to marry her? No. Do you gotta keep it in a intimate relationship? No. But if you decide to stay in this space, I think you should really set some clear expectations and some boundaries around what you expect. Hey, tweakers only. Good to see you. I'm happy that you joined because we took last week off. Um, Tweaker says, because it's a business relationship primarily, it should have started off 50-50, but now it became emotionally complicated. But I don't think that, no, I think so. No, they were together and then he started doing shit. So now, oh, so you're saying it's more of a business relationship now because of those things. So I guess my question is, if he were her husband, like if they were married, would that change like our perception and how we're answering this? Because no, they're not married yet. But if they were married and he was the husband and he got the car and the credit and the business loan, like, will we still say that this is like a business relationship, or will we just say that it's just a husband doing what a husband is supposed to do? And that's where them titles and shit get tricky, because then expectations start changing. And I feel like that's where things get complicated, because it's like, yeah, I think that. So what do you think? Does it change because they're not married? And would it be different if they were? I say you basically were playing husband, so you can't turn back now. Not for that reason. Like, you can't turn back because you don't want to continue to be doing what you've already done. But if it was something else that you wanted to walk away for, I think that would be valid. What do y'all think? Because he says, is this a partnership or am I about to become her personal bank? It's not a partnership. For sure, it's definitely not that. It's not 50-50 at all. But it could be. Again, like I said, I feel like if you wanted to put your girl on game and help her get her stuff together, it's potentially, it could be if that's what you wanted. But it's not a partnership and you're already her personal bank. So those are my thoughts on that one. I hope you can have some honest conversations with her, help her get her money together, help her get her stuff right. And then if there's a business, like, actually help her bring it into fruition, because in order for you to get a business loan, you got to have a plan. People aren't just financing hopes, wishes, and dreams. So there has to be some solid plans in place. So maybe you could help her in that regards, give her a couple months, make a mental note, like, if she don't get this shit together in a couple months, I'm out of here. But make sure she knows that too, I suppose. But yeah. I don't think you should marry her, though. I think y'all should definitely hold off and have an honest conversation, because if you already have set this expectation where she already feels like anything she needs she can get from you without any return, and you don't want to go into your marriage like that, you should definitely have those conversations. I think the question should be like, should I marry her? Not necessarily, is this a partnership? Like, no, is that the, should you marry her is the question, because it's definitely not a partnership. And you already know that you're not equally balanced. Like, you know that. You're very aware. But if it's a sacrifice that you're willing to make and you know what you're getting into, then you know what you're getting into. And I think that's important, is like, people make choices, right? And what I choose doesn't have to seem right to you. as long as I'm happy and it makes me happy. So if you choose to marry her knowing that she's gonna run your pockets, like as long as you're cool with that, it's cool. So I think we are gonna wrap that one up. And so before we go into the next scenario, because we have one more that we're gonna talk to, yes, I agree with you, Tweaker, that he most certainly needs to get a prenuptial before moving forward. And what do y'all think about prenuptial agreements? Have y'all seen Okay, so first off, I'm not a Kardashian fan whatsoever. I don't rock with the Kardashians. Never seen anything Kim Kardashian or anything. But I watched All Is Fair on Hulu, and it's with Tiana Taylor, Kim Kardashian, my girl, I forget her name, the OG white girl. She's the dopest. I forgot her name though. But anyway, so it's with them, and they're lawyers, and they talk about, like, one of them, she's this English lady, she's about to marry this dude who's like a millionaire. They go through this whole little situation where they talk about prenuptials. And then with Kim, of course, she was married to like an NFL star player, and in their prenuptials they had an agreement that her ovaries, like her eggs and shit, were shared property. Like, her eggs were fucking shared property. So when they got a divorce, they were supposed to share the eggs. She ended up doing some foul shit, whatever. But I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like, you can really name some shit in a prenuptial agreement. And in their prenuptial agreement, they had named that her eggs were shared property. And so they had to kind of pivot around some things with that. But would you have a prenup? Like, do you think, would you sign a prenup? Would you initiate a prenup? Like, what are your thoughts around prenuptials? And to be honest, I've never even thought about one. Like, I've never even thought about, like, if I go into partnership or if I have marriage, would I have a prenuptial agreement? Because I feel like my agreement is, like, whatever I came in with is mine. Whatever you came in with is yours. Whatever we build together, we'll split half. And, like, let that be it. But then also for me, like, I also don't want to come into some shit planning to not be in it anymore either. But I also know it's good to have a plan in place. And y'all know I'm a life insurance broker, so I always believe in having a solid plan in place and having something as a backup. But I don't know what my prenuptial would look like. Would y'all have one? Heather, hey girl. Heather, would you have a prenuptial agreement when you get married? Because I know you want to get married and all that. Like, and sister Tilly, are you signing a prenup? Does a prenup even flow into how you see relationships? Because I know a lot of my people don't even really believe in, like, the concept of marriage in terms of, like, the white people USA thing. Like, a lot of my people don't even really practice that. So this is where it's interesting, because some people, like, we do go to the courthouse and we have, like, the paper where we do honor it in that regards. But then I have some people who have never done that, but they've been together for like 20 plus years, 30 plus years, and that's their life partner. And then in Colorado, you're common law married if you live with somebody for 7 years, or if you're on the lease together. There's so many different levels to that. But I feel like, what are your thoughts on prenuptials? And do you know anyone who's ever signed one? So that's something to think about. I think if I were to have a prenup, that's basically what it would be. Like, what's yours is yours before, what's mine is mine before. And Tweakers only said, especially if money is a major factor. Shanae says it depends on the logistics. If he expects me to stay home, yes, we are signing a prenup. If we are both working, then we can just leave with what we have. So Shanae, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you would want to sign a prenup in your favor to say, like, if y'all were to divorce, that you would get to walk away with some stuff because you were staying at home. Like, tell me some more about that. And Heather says, I'm kind of a no on the prenup, but also okay with it because I don't want nothing from you monetary. So that's what I'm saying. But see, like, prenups aren't just for money. Like I said, in the show that I watched, her motherfucking eggs were a part of the prenup. Her embryos were shared living something in the will. Like, no bullshit. So, and then in the other person's prenup, they have like their dog, and then a dog, an animal, some other shit. Like, there was a lot of other things in the prenuptial agreement too. So it wasn't just monetary. It was like covering all of the things. And so, sister, you said if you had a lot on the table, absolutely you would have a prenup. What's a lot on the table? Are we talking property? Are we talking kids? Are we talking, like, what does that look like? Because even in your prenuptial agreement, you can actually create like custodial plans. You can create parenting plans. You can do the whole fucking shebang. And I didn't know that they were so intense because that's what we're taught, right? Like, it's all about the money. Like, oh, you don't sign no prenuptial agreement because whatever. And let's be very clear. Never mind. I won't even go down that aspect today. But Shanae says yes to protect me. If I'm staying home and you're providing, what happens when you no longer are providing? So in that case, I need to protect myself. Okay, so you would sign a prenup to say, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, and in the event that you leave me, nigga, I'm taking half. Or something to that effect to make sure that you're good and to make sure your kids are good. Or would it be like, if you leave, I'm keeping the house, you're paying my income, you don't have to give me any money directly, but you have to make sure that all my bills and stuff are paid. Like, what does that look like? Tilly says property, business, cars. Heather says, I just think if you go into it with the thought, do you plan on the relationship failing before you really enter it? I don't know. It makes me feel away like that. So that's what I was saying too. That's my thought too. Like, I don't want to go into a situation already expecting it not to work out. But, and two, the caveat is that prenuptials aren't necessarily, I mean, they're protection, right? They're protection in the event that, like, some shit hits the fan, or I don't know. You have a prenup with the hope that you never have to use it. So that was one of the white girls. She was actually a lawyer. One of the white girls, she was very conflicted. She didn't want to, and she was a divorce attorney. That was her actual job. Her actual job was, she was a divorce attorney, and she was against having a prenup. She's like, I don't want to put that fate over my relationship. Whereas her husband, her fiance, he wanted a prenup. And it turned out he wanted a prenup because he wanted to protect her from a major fucking loss that he was about to take. Like, he was about to take $100 million loss from his company. And he wanted to make sure that in the event that they came for him, that her assets weren't impacted. So it was a prenup to say, no, you can't have my money. But in the event that I'm pursued, they can't come after your money either. So I don't know. I think it's interesting because we usually just think it's like, oh, I'm going to sign a prenuptial agreement. So if the nigga leaves me or if we break up, then I need to make sure I get half. But I've learned that there's so much more to it. Winston 74 said prenup is a must. So what would you include in your prenup, Winston? Like, what would you have in it? Like, if you were to have it. Shanae says, I'm divorced and you don't ever plan on it not working, but please be prepared if it doesn't. Wow, I didn't know that, Shanae. Actually, I think I saw you put that on your story, like, I'm divorced. And I was like, the fuck? I didn't even know you was married, girl. So kudos, like, that's real. That's honest. That's honest for sure. Like, making sure that you have, and you're speaking from experience. So I respect that. Tweakers Only says, I feel like whatever the two parties agree in any agreement, then anything goes. Yep, I agree. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think prenuptials are just limited to money. Like, it can be it's so vast. There's so many different things that you can include in your prenuptial agreement before, just to make sure everybody's good. Till says, I will say this, if we're trying to build together, nah, I ain't signing nothing. See, there's the conflict. There's the conflict because if you're there, can you not build if you have a prenup? Or is it saying that, I don't know, that shit's complicated. That's really complicated. I think I would want an agreement. And it doesn't have to be because I don't think it's gonna work. I want an agreement in the event that like I die or like um your company takes off or my company takes off and like there's just yeah, I don't know. Because the other thing is like I intend to build with my partner. So like whatever we build, I wanted to build together, like our enterprise. I wanted to be where it we complement each other, like where we are building together. So I don't know what a prenup would look like in that because it's our collective baby. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. And that's probably the best time while you guys are in the same space and you agree on yeah, when you're in good energy. Oh, we have a new chimer. Hi. I don't know how to say your name, so I don't want to mess it up. Amara, I believe. Amara, welcome. Amara says a prenup doesn't mean you plan for the marriage to fail. It just means cover your ass on both ends. It also protects your assets from outside entities. Yes, so that's what I was saying. That's what I learned from the show. All is fair is that so the fiance, the man, he wanted a prenup because he was about to sign $100 million deal that he could potentially suffer a loss from, and he wanted to have the prenup in place. So in the event that his business failed or collapsed, that they couldn't go after his wife, that they couldn't go after her because she was a successful $1 million divorce attorney. And so in her mind, she was like, no, fuck that. If we're married and if you take a loss, baby, I'm taking a loss with you. Like if you take $100 million loss and I got $100 million, like we're doing this together. I don't know if I feel that way. Like, I don't know if I want to take $100 million loss because your business took $100 million loss of your own. If it's something we created together and it's our business taking $100 million loss, that's different. I don't know. Maybe that's selfish, but so he wanted the prenup so that he could protect the people against outside entities. And like I said, I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it was more or less like, if you leave, I'm taking half. But I'm learning, like you said, that you can write whatever you want and you can include so many different things to protect your spouse in the event that you suffer a loss or you suffer a decline, or if you all that, like, then your prenuptial agreement, yeah. Winston said it sounds like little mama trying to leave in the event of. So that's what I'm saying too. Like if I say I want a prenup, does that sound like I'm trying to prepare for the worst? But I do hear what Shanae says, because Shanae says if I'm working and I'm married and I'm a stay-at-home wife and you decide to leave, I want a prenup in place so that I'm good, because being a housewife is a whole bunch of jobs and you're not you don't get paid, right? So in that event, you want to make sure that you're covered, and that is a cover your ass type situation. You don't want it to end, but like, what do you do? What did Tilly say? Yeah, no, I ain't taking that with him. No. But you can get advance directive for that, or child support agreement. What's an advance directive? I don't even know what that is. What's that? Y'all be teaching me something every week, and then I go look it up and I bring y'all back facts. What's a direct advance directive? And child support, but you don't have your husband on child support though, right, friend? Like if you're married, there's not a child support agreement. Like if you're married, I don't think there's a child support agreement. I think no, I don't think so. Winston said, yep, she's trying to leave with half. I think if you're a housewife and you get left, you should get some type of compensation because you did give up a lot of your life, for sure. I don't think that should just be a clean, fair giveaway. Not at all, not at all. But welcome, and I learned so much. So, oh, you can have a parenting plan in your prenup. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So I know you can have a parenting plan as a part of your prenup for sure. Like in the event that, because of course in the show that was part of it as well, where they were saying the kids, part of the prenup where the kids were going to live, it was going to be 50-50. So that was part of it. So I know that you can do that piece, like include like your parenting plan and all of those things. So you know me, I'm gonna go do some research. I might actually pull up some different type of examples and see like how extensive them should get, because it's so good for us to know. Like it's so good for us to know, and we learn something new together all the time. Heather says an advance directive is when you give someone else decision-making authority in the event you can't make that decision yourself for whatever reason. That sounds like a will, like a power of attorney, like more like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So you're saying like instead of a prenuptial agreement, you can get an advance directive where you give your spouse the ability to make decisions for you. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm feeling like if I'm leaving a nigga, I don't want him to make decisions for me. Like, I want to make sure that we have the decisions in place so when we leave, we already know what it is. And is that more like a medical thing or like a cognitive ability? Like if your cognition or you're no longer, not, what's the word I'm looking for? Psychologically, but that's not the word. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like mentally, you don't have the mental capacity to make decisions for you. Is that what that would refer to? And okay, so that's what I'm saying. Twerkers only, like, no, I don't want half of what, I wouldn't want half of what he made before we got together. I would want in the partnership to say what you came in with is yours. What I came in with is mine. What we do together, in the event that it doesn't work out, we split it 50-50. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't, because I want to, like, yeah, I don't want to, I don't see partner. Okay, let's be clear. There were points, people do marry for money. Like, let's be very clear. And if we're honest, that's what marriage was established for. It's an entity, it's a elite system where the husband is actually supposed to be a provider. So the role of a husband is to actually provide for their spouse and their children, to ensure that their safety, their wellness, and their well-being is provided for. The woman is supposed to be domesticated and in the house, and the well-being, the nurturer, if we're talking what it was intended to be, right? On the baseline, the husband-wife thing. And then women's evolution came, a lot of things have changed. Things have evolved, but the very premise, and this is why I get so confused when men are like, why do I have to be a provider? Nigga, if you're a husband, that's what your role is. That's what it is. And as a wife, it is your role to be domesticated, to help to make sure that your house, and I'm not saying gender roles because that looks differently for everyone, right? Like, you might not take out the trash. She might take out the trash. So I'm not talking about the very specifics of those things, but I'm saying like understanding the expectations of roles of like what a husband and wife is, right? So with that understanding and like in a partnership, I feel like I don't want to use a relationship, a husband and wife thing to get over. Like, I have no intention of having a husband so that I can get over or come up, even though that is the original design of marriage. That was the intention of marriage, that a man was supposed to take care of their woman. And if you understand the dynamics of different cultures, and I learned this because I went to some PWIs, and those are private white institutions, some very I went to college in Massachusetts. And so if you know Massachusetts, it's old, it's elite, it's old money, it's very educational. A lot of the schools have international influence. And so it's not a game. Education is totally different. But what I learned is that higher education is used to actually find your mate. So women don't necessarily go to college to obtain a degree. They go to find a suitable husband. They go to find a man that's going to be a provider and to take care of them. And they base how they date off of the performance of the man in school. So you can commit to 4 years. You can commit to obtaining a degree. You have a level of excellence about yourself. And so culturally, that's the things that I've learned from other cultures. We don't necessarily practice that because we don't know, right? We do things totally different. And this is a crazy ass tangent. I don't even know how I got here. But what I've learned is that the idea or the concept of marriage for people who don't necessarily look like that is to actually find a husband who's going to take care of you. And they have prenuptials in place because in the event that I decide to give you the best 20 years of my life being your housewife, and you decide to walk away, this prenuptial agreement will ensure that I am 100% covered, that the 20 years that I gave you, um, they're invested for, they're paid for, that they weren't a waste of my time, beauty, and energy. And that shit blew my mind because for a lot of times we get faulted, especially as black women, like, oh, we're gold diggers. You want a man to take care of you. You're looking for somebody to blah, blah, blah. When in actuality, that is how a lot of other cultures move. Like that's literally how they built their family, how they built their structure, how they built their caste systems, how they literally delineate between who's fucking with who. If you're not college educated, you can't date my wife. You can't date my daughter. If you haven't committed to A, B, C, and D, you can't date my daughter, or you can't be a part of my husband's life. And so it's so interesting because a lot of the things that we as black women are faulted for, or we're gold diggers, or we're trying to run away with half, is actually how other cultures are taught to be. So that's a long ass tangent, something for you to know, something for you to explore. But as I spend time with different communities, I learned that the idea, the concept of marriage was so that a man could take care of a woman. And even though we've strayed from that for so many different reasons, like I said, the women's equal rights, women getting tired of men shit, realizing that we have the opportunity to do things on our own, laws and regulations changed to now we don't need a man to buy a house, because up until the early 1900s, women couldn't buy houses by themselves. So if you wanted a house, you had to have a husband. And then, the government was like, fuck that. We don't want black families together. So we're about to put Section 8 in place. And if you have one of these vouchers, then you can't have a man in your house. So we're going to give you housing, but we're going to take away your man. And that's a whole different dynamic that took place. And so it's heavy and it's loaded and there's so many different pieces to it. But I challenge y'all to just look up some of that shit that I just told you, like, or really sit with some of the things that I just told you, because it's real. And we play the game kind of to our default. And that's kind of how we end up in the background. So that's a lot, but I just wanted to tell you guys that. Heather said, just in the scenario you mentioned, you have all these agreements that can be made on paper without it going through the covenant in a marriage. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree with that too. Like the concept of marriage, the legalities of marriage here in the United States, and all of those things are just so layered. There's so many different layers to it. And absolutely, you can say incarceration of our men definitely play a huge part of removing the man from the family, removing the structure, like all of those things. So it's loaded. But watching that, all is fair. Like I said, I don't even fuck with Kim Kardashian. I am not a fan of her whatsoever. But I learned a lot in that show. I learned a lot from that show. And it was interesting. So we always end up in some crazy ass tangents in these conversations. But we're going to go to our next scenario. But before we do, I want to remind you that you are actually watching this broadcast on our network, and it's not just for the people, but we are the people. And you can find so many different shows throughout the week, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, TikTok, Amazon. You can stream some of the different shows that we have available. And so we have the Our World, we have Dear Jassy, we have Fly on the Wall, we have sorry, I'm trying to say them off the top of my head because I remember them, but then I don't remember them. But we do have Hiller Osted. She's coming back with her show. We have Sports Talk with an Edge that comes on every week. We have Round for Round where they talk about boxing, MMA, and then Brother Damo on Friday Funk. He's taking a little hiatus, but he'll be back and you can catch him. Life's Little Gems, they actually go. I really actually enjoy tuning into that show every week. So make sure you check into Life's Little Gems as well. But yeah, our network, we have a lot of up and coming podcasts, a lot of good conversation, whether it's sports, youth violence, youth conversations. We do have another season that's rolling out. So make sure you stay connected. And like I said, please be so kind just to share. You don't have to say nothing. You can just share it on your page, like it on your page so that we can continue the conversation. And remember, we have these talks every Friday because you send scenarios to my email. So send me your questions, your thoughts, any facts that you want to share, because I feel like we have some very educated people in our comments between YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and y'all be putting me on game in a lot of spaces. So if y'all have stuff that y'all want to share, things that you think we should know, email that to me as well. And that's dearjassy @gmail.com. DEARJASSY @gmail.com. So send me your scenarios, get them over to me, and we'll continue the conversation. And like I said, share it because we learn together. Like I said, we've learned shit about prenups and agreements and marriages and covenants and all of those type of things. And it's all because you guys contribute to the conversation. And I appreciate that so much. All right. So let's get into the second one. Yeah, see, Sneaky, we have a gang of podcasts. We have a podcast. There's something on every day of the week. So that's why I wanted to pause to make sure that you knew that there's some dope ass conversations from sports, politics, culture. Like we cover a lot of things throughout the week. So tap in, subscribe on whatever platform. I know you watch on YouTube. So subscribe, you'll get updates on the things that we do. And we're growing. So if you want to be a part, if you have some ideas, just shoot me an email. dearjassy @gmail.com. Tweakers, what'd you say? So establishing a start date in the prenuptial agreement that'll specify when the partner can gain financial Oh, I like that. I like that. So with the girl, I like the way you be thinking. That's dope, because that's what I'm saying too, because if he wants to marry her, there's clearly something, like you're fucking with her. Y'all been together for 7 years. So there's like it's a relationship, right? But she's financially dependent on you. And I think that's dope, like to establish like we're going to go through with this. I still love you, but this is the agreement. You got to have this shit together by a whoop-de-whoop date. And if not, then anything that I accrue after is just me, and whatever you do, you do. But I think that's dope. I think that's yep. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So let's see. What's our next scenario? Our next scenario. Oh, man. All right. So this one says, my man. Hey, y'all. So my man doesn't take me on dates. He does not plan anything. But every time we argue, he shows up with 40 wings, fries, and a milkshake. Like that fixes everything. And the worst part is sometimes it does. How do I stop making him think it's okay? We've been together 2 years. I feel like he's comfortable. Oh, my hair on the side is crazy. Okay, so it says my man doesn't take me on dates. He doesn't plan anything. But every time we argue, he shows up with 40 wings, fries, and milkshake. Like that fixes everything. And the worst part is sometimes it does. How do I stop making him think it's okay? We've been together for 2 years. I feel like he's comfortable. What y'all got? What do y'all got? What do y'all got? What do y'all got? Mm. I'm like, wait, hold on. Right, right, Heather. Oh my God, stop right there. Just stop right there, girl. Just stop right there. We gotta stop settling for this, for nothing. Like, we just gotta stop settling for nothing. We just gotta, I mean, girl, like, I don't, we just gotta stop. The crew, that's what I call you guys. The crew, the people that show up every Friday. Girl, the crew is laughing at you. And Heather said we must have dated the same mother effer. And Shanae says that's the bare minimum. 2 years, he doesn't plan anything, he doesn't take you out. You're not like, he's not. So I feel like that, remember, I think a couple episodes ago I said you have to watch that show that he's just not that into you. If he's your man, he's not your man. Like, if he's your man, he's not your man. Like, this isn't how a man who is into you shows up. And I can just say that because I talk to men, and I'm learning that men really do know what the fuck they want, and they really do know how to show up for you. I saw a meme. Yeah, no, I'll be on him. I saw a meme. This dude, he was like, he doesn't do it because he doesn't want to. You don't need to chase him. He's not waiting for you to take him out. He's not none of those things. He's not doing it because he doesn't want to. Like, he doesn't want to. So with you accepting them 40 wings and fries, like, that's what you're gonna get. I don't, yeah, with a 2 piece and a biscuit, Winston. And that's all it takes. And I'm pretty sure, and I wouldn't even doubt if he's showing up at like 11:30 at night. If he's showing up at midnight, he's probably not even showing up during the day. He's probably not even showing up during the day. And I know this sounds crazy, and I'm not trying to like talk bad about you. And I bet you every time he shows up with them wings, y'all fuck too. I'm sure you take your panties off. And that's the problem. Because you've already set the precedent that it's okay. And it's not. And I want better for you. I really want better for you. No, tweakers only don't remember 40 wings and the fries. We want to do better. We want to be better. We want to be better. We definitely want to be better. Oh, I have a question for you. For the men who are listening or who are in the conversation. So when I say that, am I right or am I wrong? When I say that a man knows, like, a man knows how to show up for a woman. A man knows how to date a woman. A man knows how to engage a woman if he wants to, like, if that's his desire. And I have noticed that some men are a little sassy, or they do want to be. No, stop, Jazz. It's not sassy. I do think that it's not an unfair ask of men to want to be admired too. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to do good things for your man as well. Like, if you're in the dating stage and like you expect him to do things for you, roses, flowers, or whatever, I don't think it's wrong or a missed expectation for a man to say that they want something or that they like to be admired too. I don't necessarily think it should be flowers or something, but like if it's something small or you know what I mean? Like I don't think that's a bad thing. But I do think that men know how to take initiative for sure if they want to. And I think that they do know how to plan dates if they want to. And I was having a conversation with someone, with the man that I admire a lot this week. And yeah, that I admire a lot. And he said that because we were talking, and he was like, well, men, a lot of cases, men aren't shit. And I said, well, it's crazy that you could say that because if a woman says that, then it's a problem. But you as a man can say it. And he's like, it's not that men aren't shit. It's like every person is 80-20. So you have 80% good. And in cases you have 20% where it's just not fully fine-tuned or developed. And I believe that about everyone. But he was saying, like, a lot of cases for men, that 20% gets so heightened or so, like, the light is shines so hard on the 20% that you forget about the good 80% of a man. And I was like, that's an interesting perspective. And I had to reflect on that. And I think that's actually honest. Like, I don't think, and I'm definitely not a pick me. Y'all know me. If y'all watch these episodes, I am definitely not a pick me whatsoever. But having that conversation, I had to reflect to say that, like, I don't think we do give men enough grace and space to kind of be human, right? Like, to kind of be like, I want to be a provider for you, but like right now I'm in a space where I'm transitioning between jobs, or I'm doing this, that, or the other, or I'm building my business. So all my funds are going to my business. So no, I'm not taking you on extravagant dates, but that doesn't mean that I'm not interested in you. And I think we have this perception, like if he's not calling me every day, or if he's not doing these things, then he's not the man that I want. But I think that's bullshit. I think we have to kind of give grace in that space. I think. Yeah. So that was to say, that's not your situation though, girl. That's not this situation whatsoever. That's not this. Him coming, not taking you on dates, not planning anything. And then when y'all argue, he shows up probably after 10 with 40 wings fries. I'm pretty sure he fucks you really good. Smokes, y'all have amazing conversation. And then the cycle repeats. That's not what you want, baby. And again, like I always say, if it is, make sure that you're choosing it, because if it's your choice and you're happy, then cool. But you're clearly not okay with it because you don't want him to think it's okay. So if you don't want him to think it's okay, stop letting it be okay. It's really that simple. Just stop letting it be okay, and be okay with being by yourself, because this really sounds, and again, y'all know we always get so layered, but it's like, it sounds like you just want some attention. You just want somebody to be there, and you're settling, and you've been settling for 2 years, and he's been eating that up. So don't let that happen. Don't let that be the situation, because I don't think that should be it. Right. That nigga, that's a real deal DoorDash for that ass. I'm coming with some wings, some fries, I'm getting them panties, and I'm out of there. That's exactly what that is. And that's unfortunate because she thinks that that's her man. Baby, that's not your man. Not at all. And I don't even know what y'all even have to argue about. But if he's causing an argument just so he can bring you some wings so he can fuck you and then leave you, then yeah, nah, I wouldn't do that. Um, what have you been doing, tweakers only? That is better than what you've been doing. I don't even, sometimes I don't even know if I should be asking you questions because you be all over the place. But I enjoy our conversations. F all that. What's the perfect recipe for success? What I was saying. Just really giving grace. So those are my thoughts on these scenarios. Make sure that you guys send in your scenarios, comments, questions, or anything that you want to share. And then, like I said, for the men, I'm curious to know, how do you like to be engaged? Like, how do you like to be pursued. Do you like to be pursued? Because again, in the conversation that I was having, I've learned that like men like to capture. They like to capture. So I don't necessarily know if I've had women be like, "Oh no, I'll shoot my shot. I'll slide in the DMs," and I've done it. No, I haven't. I'm lying. Um, like I've had women say like, "Oh no, I've slid in somebody's DMs and it turned out cool." Like, how do you feel about that? Like, as a man, do you want to be pursued in that way? Is it necessary, or do you actually go after what you want? So, let me know your thoughts about that. You can answer that question and you can send your answer to dearjazzy at gmail.com. As a man, is that something that you like? Do you like to be pursued by a woman, or do you like the chase? Do you like the ability to capture and to engage? And like, what does that look like for you? So I'd be curious to know your response. Heather says she slid into a DM and never get a response. See, I'm too shy for that. Like, I would be so hurt. I would be devastated if I slid into somebody's DMs and they didn't respond. But yeah, no, I've never done that. I've seen somebody in person. I'd be like, "Oh, you are so handsome," or like, "I think you're cute." Like, I'm more like in person type. I'll shoot my shot in person, and yeah, yeah, I'll talk you up in person for real, but I've never slid in anybody's inbox before. Tilly said, "No, I'm not getting in no man's inbox." Mm-mm. But like I said, I'll chop it up with you in person. Like, "Hey, baby," not baby, but I will have a conversation. Okay, so here we go. Men, you can answer the question, Dear Jazzy, do you like to be pursued by a woman, or is it the chase for you? Is it necessary for a woman to pursue you, or do you know what you want? Because people are saying that men have become a little sassy and they want to be engaged and they want text messages. But then I've been talking to men and they've been saying, no, it's not necessary. If we want to pursue you, we're going to. And if we're not, we're just not that into you. However, we won't deter you from compliments and doing all of those things too, because who doesn't want to be complimented, right? So I want to hear from the men in that regards, and you can send your answers to dearjazzy at gmail.com. And Heather says that you get scared in person. See, I'm different. Like, I'm more nervous in your inbox because I'm like, this nigga's gonna screenshot it, send it to his boy. Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about in person for sure. I want to just talk to you right in person. But yeah, so that's it for the week. We always go for such a good amount of time where it just starts flowing and we're talking and going, and then I look up and I'm like, damn, it's 6:30. So we've been on here for almost an hour and a half. So we'll be back next week on Friday. Shout out to everybody who continues to chime in. Next week, Friday, we're 4:35. I'll tag you. Make sure that you share, connect with your people. Invite everybody to engage because the conversations are so much fun when we have so many more people. So I appreciate it. And Heather, you said that you can be vulnerable, but so I guess no comment is a comment, right? So I guess not saying nothing is saying something too. And that's where I be bothered too, because it's like, yeah, you probably could have just said I'm not interested, but I guess by not saying anything, you are saying you're not interested, right? So that shit gets complicated. But we gonna see what the men say. We'll see if they follow up and they answer. A lot of a part of the crew on YouTube is a lot of men. And so Tweakers Only, Winston, I want you to shoot me an email with your response, and so we can chop it up next week and go from there. So again, I am Jasmine Elizabeth. This is Dear Jazzy. You are watching us on the R Network, where we are not just for the people, we are the people. And I look forward to catching up with the crew next week. I'll talk to you guys later.